Welcome to the Wed Pro podcast, the podcast for Wed Pros no matter their stage. We are your hosts, Katie and Roxy, and this is the Wed Pro podcast. Hi friends, it's Roxy here. I'm so glad you are tuning in because this is a big episode and I've been looking forward to it all week. So if you are trying to figure out how to get more wedding bookings without constantly chasing the algorithm or burning out on Instagram, which we all know happens all the time, today's episode is gonna shift something for you, I promise. Because I'm joined by someone who is not just good at wedding marketing, he is one of the best in the industry, best in the business. So Terry Lewis is here with me today. He is a wedding business strategist, international speaker, multi-award winning entrepreneur, and he has helped hundreds of wedding professionals build marketing systems that actually convert, not just get likes, right? We've got to build stuff that works, and that's what you are all about. Before that, Terry, you worked in the corporate world, didn't you?
I agree.
Trust me when I say this, this guy understands structure, data, results, and he combines it all with decades of real-world experience in the wedding industry. As a DJ, as a host, a marketing mentor, literally you're like a triple threat, aren't you?
Wow, thanks for that amazing introduction. I really appreciate it.
Finish it, Terry. And
Oh my word.
spoken at events across the UK, Europe. You've been a judge for the Wedding Industry Awards, been featured on BBC Radio. Like, oh my goodness, how do you have time to do all of this? Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much. So much of all those things. It's like, wow, really? Did I do all of that? And I'm going to share, I'm going to scratch the surface today and I'm going to reveal as much as I can as to how I managed to achieve all of that. Because the reality is I'm just like the listeners out there. I use certain strategies that just catapulted my career within the wedding industry. Can't wait to share what I can with your listeners today.
And not only are you going to be sharing it today, but you are going to be bringing all of that to the stage at Wedcon in November, aren't you?
Oh my gosh. And listeners, I'm saving the best for Wedcon. Today just going to be a taster. Come to Wedcon. It's not just myself. There's going to be some amazing speakers on the platform there. And it's going to shortcut your journey to success for sure. 100%.
And this is what we're here for. This is exactly why we do what we do, right? So let's get into it. So let's go way back when to the beginning, because your path into the wedding industry wasn't exactly traditional, was it? But what led you to leave your job and then step into weddings? Tell us about that.
Absolutely right. So I used to work in the City of London in corporate finance, but it was a blue chip, top 100 FTSE company, right? And so I studied economics and government at school. And I come from a really humble background, council estate. It was awful. And I thought to myself, I want better for myself, for my kids. And I knew that education was the way, right? So I got this dream job, Roxy. Oh my gosh, I'm suited, I'm booted, I'm on the central line. Honestly, brilliant at first, right? I'm reading the FT every morning. I've got the sandwiches in the briefcase. You know, I'm a city boy and I'm loving it. But what led my exit from that to what I do now? So my life changed because you know, when you get like a really cool job, right? You got like title and everything, and but they don't really trust you with much work, right? Because you're the needy. Anyway, years into my career, they start trusting me. And I'm getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm at my desk writing corporate reports at 10:30 night. And I thought, this is not the life that I had planned out for myself. And I thought, what is it that I'm passionate about? Because we all need income. Unless mummy, daddy got a trust fund for you. That's not me. You know, I'm from humble beginnings. I got to make it for myself, right? And I thought, but when I go to work, I don't want it to be a job. I want it to be something that I love, something I'm passionate about. And I did some soul searching and it came back to music, entertaining people. And long story short, I fell in love with salsa dancing. Brilliant career there. We had like 9 clubs, people flying in literally from Europe to our clubs. And that's how I got out of the city, through salsa, because the income from my salsa company, or our salsa company, exceeded that of the city. And so when I got to that point when I was burned out, I just kind of like left the city and did what I loved. One day, one of my students, Terry, getting married, I want you to DJ. And I thought, it can't be too much different from what I do at the Latin clubs, right? But in our clubs, people would come in like sawn off t-shirts and like pants. And it's a real Latin vibe. And I went to the wedding at Roxy. It was in a gorgeous venue. And I kind of looked at the clubs, and I looked at weddings, and I thought, I want to be into weddings, man. This is a really cool environment. So I made that transition, mainly because of that one student asking me to DJ at their wedding.
That's amazing. And it is that in life, right? Sometimes it just takes to have one conversation with one person to completely change the trajectory of your life. Very similar. I had a conversation with Katie that now led me to kind of do what I do now, like way back when. Exactly like you, like council estate, worked 3 jobs, never really saw myself running my own business. And then I had a conversation with Katie, who was like, yeah, come on, work in the bridal shop for me as a Sunday girl. And then from that one conversation, like my life changed.
Very long.
I'm so grateful. And it is about just sometimes putting yourself out there, right? You could have easily said no and said, no,
Absolutely.
I don't want to do.
Absolutely.
So did that corporate background give you an edge, do you think, when it came to business strategy at all? Do you know what I mean? Like doing what you do now, is there any connection still, or?
And this is one of the reasons why my career fast-tracked. Because when I worked in the City of London, some of my best friends at work worked in marketing and strategy. And so I would find myself in their department, and like we would hang out for lunch. And you know, it's like in the city, like you go for drinks after work.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I was actually learning in a really casual way, just through conversations, just by seeing what the marketing department actually did. And so when I left and I set up my own business, just like most of our listeners today, you do something that you're good at or something that you're passionate at. And then that you thought, well, I'm going to, maybe they got 1 or 2 inquiries or requests, kind of do a friend's wedding. And then it went from there. And sometimes we're accidental wedding professionals, right? Where it's passion led. And then on the other side of doing the flowers or the DJ or the MC or the photography video, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to run a business. And people have got no idea how to run a business. And what I found the biggest mistakes with a lot of wedding pros is they're running their business on the passion of what they like doing, but they don't really have an understanding of how to target, how to implement strategies that are going to bring in bride and grooms. And 100% working in the City of London, it taught me how to be a brilliant marketeer. And here's the truth of the matter. All of us, if you're listening, you need to be very, very good, excellent at what you do. But you need to be an even better marketeer. Because you could be the best photographer, videographer, whatever out there. If nobody knows you, you've got no business, or you've got a struggling business. And yeah. And what I teach people is what I learned in the corporate world, I apply that into my little business. And there are things which I'm going to be revealing the talk that I'm going to deliver in November to our listeners, exactly what these 7 things are that the big corporates are doing that us smaller people, if you've got a one-man business or maybe you just got a team, a small team, implement these things. My gosh, if they work for Apple and for Marks and Spencer's and Virgin, believe me, they're going to work for your wedding business.
And this is the thing, right, guys? You don't have to know like everything about everything to have a successful business, do you? Like you just need to have some solid foundations, some strategy behind you. yes, obviously you're in the industry because you've got an amazing creative passion, and I see it every single day. But sometimes we just need to lift up the business side of it as well. You don't have to do it like overly, but if you can just follow some roadmaps, some strategies to get you to where you want to be, like, you will have a wildly successful business. And that leads me on actually to my next question. So you've obviously helped hundreds of wedding suppliers through your courses and mentoring. But when did you start to realize that this was something like that the whole industry needed?
It happened, I guess. So I left the city, I guess, 2003-ish, round about there. And then did salsa till about 2009. And it was 2010 when I got into the wedding industry. And I think it kind of took me maybe 2 or 3 years to realize that I had something that other wedding suppliers weren't implementing. How did that come about? So I'd be networking at these events, and people would be coming up to me, Terry, how are you getting booked? And I'd have the like coffee or like telephone conversation with people, and I'd share the things that I was doing. And then be somewhere else, and I'd have the same conversation. And then people would start calling me, and that was when I realized that not everybody had the information that I was lucky enough to access to through my corporate line. And people were making common mistakes. And the truth of the matter is that I didn't get tired of telling people, repeating the same information, but I thought to myself, I can help so many more people if I just drop this into a book. And that's why I wrote my first book, 12 Habits of Highly Successful People, which, Roxy, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You know, that book, it sold Canada, North, South America,
Amazing.
across Europe. Yeah, across Europe, North and South Africa, all the way across into, you know, the Far East, Thailand, all the way over to Australia, New Zealand. And what I was really, really thrilled about was that across the wedding supplier industry, you know, I think there's about 23 categories at the last count, people who actually I've managed to help. They rated it 4.8 out of 5 stars internationally.
Internationally.
Yeah. And that was when I realized that, you know, and it sounds like, oh, you know, Terry's this. No, not at all. All I've done is implemented what the big blue chip companies are doing within my business. And then I've just cascaded that information down to the wedding suppliers who reach out to me, or I'm lucky enough to speak to, you know, at a conference or any other event. But I
Moment. So you had an entry moment when you obviously your book went on sale, and then it was like ping, ping, this country, that country. Like, oh my life.
It was an amazing feeling, that because I really put my heart and soul into it. I mean, I was 15, 16 hours a day. And I just, like, when I get into a project, you know, literally I eat, I sleep, and then I'm back into it. You know, I wouldn't recommend people work like that, because now I know that there's healthier ways to get results. But I was young at the time, and when you've got that passion and you just think, I want to
stay, and you're just like, oh,
exactly. And you're in the flow, and you just want to just get it done. And then, you know, you write the information, then you rewrite it, and then you show it to industry colleagues. It doesn't quite land, and then you change it. But what I wanted was information that actually transformed people's, not only businesses, but their lives. I had one feedback from a wedding supplier. And in short, he said something like, Terry, not only have you allowed me to increase my prices and get more bookings, but you've actually given me my life back. And when I read that, I kind of stopped and my eyes opened, and I kind of looked at what this guy was writing. He said, you've given me my life back. I no longer have to work. I can't remember how many days a week. I now work Y, which was a lot smaller. And for the first time in years, we've been able to have a family holiday. Well, things like that kind of choked me up. And it's like, and sometimes you don't realize the impact that the information that you guys have, that other wedding marketers and strategy, how we actually can improve people's lives. And it is an honor You know, it really, really is.
It is. I absolutely love it. Like our group coaching program, I literally, it just fills me with so much joy every day that I get to support small wedding business owners that come to us feeling frustrated, feeling like they don't know what they're doing, or like I'm doing so many things but nothing's working. And just with a little bit of eyes on your business, bit of strategy, completely can change it in quite a short space of time. And it is just as easy as kind of putting your hand up and saying, I need some outside help. And honestly, if anyone out there is feeling that struggle, reach out to Terry, reach out to me, like get some support, because you don't have to feel like this for much longer. So inside your book, you were saying you've poured all of your knowledge into there. What do you see wedding pros getting wrong, like consistently when it comes to marketing and funnels? Like, what are the main things?
The main things, especially from my perspective, when I was green and brand new, was not realizing that all marketing strategies, they're not born equally. They're not. So some wedding pros might start to focus on certain. When I went through, I think there were about 9 different strategies out there, at least 9 different strategies out there. And what I figured out, I guess it took me about maybe 2.5 to 3 years, was that you need to tier your marketing strategy. Don't just pour everything into one tier. I mean, let's have a quick chat. So I'm going to make some notes here. I mean, what are common marketing strategies that you find people are using? Just like some notes and just holler a few out. You know, anything. You know,
I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to market myself on Instagram, right?
Okay. What else?
I'm using ads.
Ads. Okay. What type of ads? Insta ads or Facebook ads?
Instagram, Google ads.
What else are people using?
Email marketing.
Email. Okay. Go ahead. A bit more. How else are people getting bookings nowadays?
How else are people? You put me on the spot here. I'm supposed to.
Oh, okay. So you've got things like directories, right? I'm going to write down.
Sorry, directories, guys. Yeah, obviously.
Directories, right? You know, you've got word of mouth, right? Word of mouth. That's a big one, yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
They're coming out.
They are, aren't they? Look. Wedding fairs. You've got venue recommendations as well, right? Recommendations. You've got supplier recommendations. They can help get us business. You've got other wedding suppliers as well. We've got things like our website. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's probably a few others in there, but these are like the main ones that wedding suppliers are using to get business. Okay. They're not all born equal. All right. So what do I need? I mean, for me, I look at these and I think, okay, which of these marketing strategies are open to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
And which of these marketing strategies are open to a few? Okay, so you mentioned earlier on about, you know, Instagram, social media burnout, because it's something you've got to keep on doing all the time. And quite often, unless you've got a system that, okay, I mean, you still need to write the post or have someone write the post for you. But then if you're lucky and you figure it out, you can get a system to then post them, but you've still got to do the work. And I figured out that if you put these into what I call a marketing pyramid, where at the base of the pyramid, you've got the strategies that are open to everybody.
Yep.
And then at the top of the pyramid, you've got the strategies that are open to a few. Okay, so it's kind of like this, right? Now, depending upon where you are in your wedding business, you'll either be at what I call the pinnacle or what I call the golden. So you know, a pyramid, right? It's kind of like huge. I mean, if you imagine maybe the top, the Shard in London, like the top, you know, at 900 below. You got that little bit at the top, right? That is where I wanted to be. And it's where I encourage and teach and show people who want to learn from me how to market. Why? Because when you're at the base, so things at the base are open to the masses. So just looking at this quick list here, like Instagram, Facebook, ads, directories. What else have we got here? They're open to the masses because we've got the budget and the time. The barrier to entry is very low, and that is a good thing, especially if you're struggling to get booked. And if you want to get your name out there instantly, oh my gosh, you got access to thousands of people. The downside is that you are a swipe away. Yes, seconds away from, the next shine puppeteer, or, whether it's, some distractor, like at the moment, you've got the whole Coldplay thing.
Everybody's doing it as well. Everyone's at it down there, aren't they?
Everybody is at it, right? And trying to win couples at the base of the marketing pyramid can be done, but there's a lot of competition. And I figured to myself really early on, Terry, I know that I need to do that at the beginning of my career because nobody knows who I am. But I want to get to the point where I'm not trying to win business, fighting with a lot of other suppliers who've got access to the same brides and grooms, right? Okay, so that's what I mean about working at the top of, like the shard and in the base. But depending upon where you are in the business, you've got to be one or the other. And to be honest, it's possible, even when you get to the point where your business is thriving, I would still recommend having a presence on social media because it absolutely helps and it keeps you at the top as well. So what's at the top and why? Well, at the top, absolutely, you've got the word of mouth sources. Yes. So I'm sure every single supplier, unless you've got a venue, you want it to be recommended by a wedding venue. Why? Well, when people find you elsewhere, maybe on social media, you kind of got that, what are they like? And also, maybe get on directories and, you reach out to a couple and you can tell that, unless you're really quick when the inquiry comes in, you can tell that you are maybe the 50th supplier to contact you. And that is a problem, right? Whereas when someone recommends you, quite often you are the only one. When someone recommends you, you haven't got that challenge that you have when you've come from the masses, with social media or elsewhere, a wedding fair, for example. And just by recognizing that one fact, it changed my entire strategy as to how I get booked. And getting to the point where you've got venues, you've got suppliers, you've got wedding planners recommending you. The only way a venue is going to recommend you is if you are the absolute best at what you do. The only way a wedding planner or other wedding suppliers or associates are going to recommend you is by being the very best at what you do. And when that penny dropped, right, this whole golden triangle idea dropped, I thought, how can I position myself so that other people are recommending me while I'm doing other things? So instead of me being a bit crazy, frantic on social media and other areas, I still do it. I'm not saying don't do it. You still need to do that, people out there. But you need to make your focus having other people live. It's almost like being a member of an exclusive club.
Yeah.
Where you got the gold card, you then got the gold card to brides and grooms, literally, just by being ace at what you do. Because now the venue manager, while I'm having this podcast, it's possible that someone at a wedding venue are showing a bride and groom around and my name is going to come up in the conversation while I'm talking to you. Is the gold, literally marketing gold. Okay, so and I know you're probably going to ask this question a little bit later on, but whilst I'm in this flow, how do you get to the
I'm thinking people who were going, okay then, Terry, great news. How? Tell me how.
How? Come to the conference in November And I will tell you, but this is how in the book that got rated 4.8 globally, right, I could only go so deep. And then I started doing talks and then the course as well. But it's in these longer sessions that I'm able to like really deep dive and give the corporate laser targeted strategies that get brides and grooms booking you. But not only that, when you get to that point, that is when you get to the shard, the lit up part of the shard. That's when that happens in your career. You've got to be ace. And so just revealing a little bit, I worked out this, I guess I kind of fell into it. And it was only when I began to teach people that it made me analyze what I was doing differently. And when I built my business, when I build the wedding businesses for other people, I kind of break it down and it's just 3 things. I call them IPAs. I stands for influence. More specifically, people of influence. People of influence are people who have direct access to high quality brides and grooms, and they're able to influence the couple, normally the bride, to have a conversation with me or my students, right? That's the I. The P are pipelines. Pipelines are exclusive sources of inquiries. So I'm not talking about social media. What I'm talking about are those word of mouth recommendations from people of influence. Yes. And the A are anchors. And an anchor is something that literally anchors somebody down to you because they believe that your service and only your service can give them the wedding that they want. Okay. So IPA, do you remember that phrase? Yes. Influencers, pipelines, and anchors. And when I kind of looked at everything that I was doing, when my strategies worked, 100%, there was either an influencer, a pipeline, or an anchor that resulted in wedding business success. And my gosh, individually, they are mind blowing. But when you combine all triple threat,
I said triple threat.
oh my gosh, Roxy. So now, when I'm in a meeting, for example, with a couple, I weave IPAs throughout my conversations, throughout. And what I'm doing is almost like, if you've got a piece of thread, you can just pop it, right? But you take 3 bits of thread and you plait them together, and you try and pop.
Yeah.
And that is what I do. And that's what I teach wedding suppliers to do not only when they have conversations, but through the website, throughout social media, right? Throughout the conversations they have, throughout their products or services. You plait those 3 things together, then you have a wedding business that struggles to struggle. Let me put it that way.
It's about building those foundations, right? That means you're not just building a business for now. For 3 weeks' time, you're building a business that's going to be here, that's going to stand the test of time.
Absolutely. And here's the truth of the matter: that if you have to rely on the base of the marketing pyramid for your bookings, you're going to have to work hard for as long as you choose to be a wedding supplier. That's the truth of the matter. You are on that, that kind of mouse in the wall. And you're running, right? And then I need a break. And then you look, no likes, you got no loves, you got no comments, and it stops. When you are at the lit up of the shard, the golden triangle, you could be on the beach, man. You could be a social media player. You can be with your family and somebody's talking about you. So that wheel, that marketing wheel never, ever, ever stops. So can you see now why? And, and sometimes it's only when someone explains the differences in marketing strategies that, and I'm hoping listeners, man, pennies are dropping in your minds now. And you're thinking,
Pen scribbling notes.
we're gonna convert those pennies into pound notes into your business in November when you come along and I share how I do this. But it was that realization around about 20, I don't know, say 2012 or so.
Yeah.
I need to do this. And then what I did was I looked at my blue chip company, my employers were doing, well, when I used to work for them. I read so many marketing books and I, attended so many seminars from people like Brendan Burchard and Amy Porterfield and Anthony Robbins, the greats, right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of saying the same thing in their own language in a different way. And when you kind of weave everything together, it comes down to strategies that most big successful companies are using that you, me, anyone listen to this podcast can implement in their business and get results as well.
I think one of the mindset things that comes along with this is we need to stop playing like small little business owners in the wedding industry and start being a bit more like CEO mindset rather than playing it small. We've got to take the emotion out of it and run a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're out there and you're listening, why are you in the wedding industry? How did you get into the wedding business, right? Is it because of passion? And most people, it's because of passion. And they come from a job. Now they think, oh, I want to be an X, Y, and Z or Z wedding supplier. And they end up like multiple jobs and overwhelm because the inquiries of the bookings are not, they're not landing. And here's the thing as well. I was going to say this earlier, but I nearly forgot that now that I use IPAs across my business, especially during a Zoom meeting or if I have a face-to-face with a couple.
Yeah.
As a result of implementing IPAs throughout what I share with them, 8 out of 10 people go on to book. And that is just crazy. So I know that if I need more work, it's just, for me, it's just a numbers game. I just need to get 10 couples into my funnel. And I know on that, statistically, 8 are going to book. And I'm premium as well. It's not about price, people, at all. No. Get that out of your mind. Share a quick story. I love salsa dancing.
I do.
Right?
Inspiring you are, Terry. You're so inspiring.
I kind of messed up, to be honest with you. And a couple made an inquiry and they said, oh, Terry, can we have a meeting? And I said, yes, I don't know. I got distracted. But about 2-3 weeks before, and I looked and I thought, oh my gosh, this clashes with the salsa festival that I want to go to. And it was in Croatia. It's a week long. It was really, really good, all of that jazz. And I thought to myself, I really want to go, but the wedding's on the weekend. And I'd have to literally fly back to London, do the wedding, and then fly back to Croatia to finish off the rest of the holiday. So I thought, oh my gosh, it cost me, an extra like £400 or £500 anyway. So I thought, if they really want me, I'm just going to add it on to my fee. And I just went through my normal IPAs before I ended the conversation on the Zoom. They booked. And this is why I tell you, it's not about price. It's about if you're able to inject passion. Another thing for me, couples, if they trust me with being a part of their wedding, I'm going to guarantee that they have the time of their life, all their money back. Now, I'm not saying that everyone out there should do that. It's not right for every business. If you're a venue owner, you absolutely do not want to do that. Because you just need one member of staff to come in with a hangover or a bit of an attitude.
Or one of the guests is having a bit of a...
Yeah, exactly. But if you are in control, and I'm not going to go into it, but that's another aspect as well. Why do I offer money back guarantee? My favorite companies do. Apple, Marks and Spencer's. If something does not deliver, and what I do is I don't look to what other wedding professionals in my industry, or even outside of my industry and profession, which is DJ and MC. I look to the big corporates. How are you demonstrating 100% passion, commitment, excellence in the service that you deliver for your brides and groom? That's where I take my lead. Now, yeah, there's certain things that have to happen within the quality and the delivery of the product or service in order to give you the confidence to do that. But there's a lot more that goes into a money-back guarantee. Don't have time to jump into it today.
Another day.
Catch me at Wedcon and ask me more about it, people, if you're more interested in that.
So, Terry, you've spoken on stages, you've judged top-tier awards, worked with so many wedding business owners. But at Wedcon this year, you are, and I'm really excited. You're giving so much amazingness away, loads of actionable strategies that can really turn the needle up for wedding business owners. But and you touched on it earlier about the difference between like being in a room and learning live. Like, what's the difference between that and trying to figure it all out from a course or YouTube, or like trying to do it all yourself?
But one of the things that I do across all of the platforms, and the answer to the question, the short answer is action, right? Okay. So across all of the platforms that I teach people across, I teach, and then you have to have a growth assignment.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? I'm going to share things with you, like the IPAs, for example, like influencers, for example. If you sit there and you think, oh, that's a nice talk, and you cross your legs and photos and sip your water and all of that, and then you leave that presentation and don't do jack is going to happen in your business. Nothing is going to change, which is why I always give growth assignments that are the action points related to what I've just taught. And it's like in the book, at the end of each chapter, I said to people, do not move on to chapter 2 until you've implemented what I've taught you in chapter 1. And it's the same thing across my course. And it'll be the same thing at Wedcon. I share ideas. What was that saying? Self-development or shelf development. You heard that one before? Yeah? Don't take what you say or what I say and then put it on the shelf. Self-develop it, apply it, take action. And that's when things will happen. And I will say this, that the things that I teach, there are superficial things that I teach that will work. But the real growth and stability, let me say, happens when you do hard stuff. The things, and with me, I don't like to sugarcoat things. To get a business where venues, wedding suppliers, wedding planners want to recommend, you got to be the best. You got to be exceptional. Getting to exceptional comes at a cost, for sure. And I say to people that if you're looking for an easy way out, there's no easy way out. The truth of the matter is you either have to work really hard now, build your business to the point that you have the IPAs.
Yeah.
And then your business life becomes easy for as long as you want to be in the wedding industry. And if you don't do that, you're going to have to work hard forever, fighting it out with the masses.
And there is no fast track for these sorts of strategies. You've got to get stuck in, and you've got to put one foot in front of the other, even when it feels scary, even when you feel unsure. But it all just then clicks, right? Might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but you implement this sort of stuff, and you've got a business that's going to be here for a long, long time.
Exactly.
That's what Wedcon is all about. I'm honestly, like, I love hearing you speak. You just give off so much passion and energy and vibe. I love it. I'm already pumped for Wedcon, but don't you just think there's something about being in a room full of other amazing like wedding business owners as well that's just it's just like bigger. It's just amazing. I don't know about you, but I love that
It
vibe.
is. It is. It is. And you know something? You know, when I teach people like one-on-one, it is a completely different to when I'm in a room of people because you kind of catch the fire, you know, from your neighbor. And your neighbor might say something to you that, oh, I hadn't thought of it in that way. And between you know, everyone ends up with like literally fizzing with excitement because of a shared idea that they can just take to the next level, add their own ideas on top of it, implement it, and get results. And as what you know, and this is one thing I would recommend that you do when you come along to Wedcon, find somebody new. Ideally, someone outside of your profession. So if you're a photographer, hook up, you know, with a florist, or, you know, a venue or cake, or somebody who does invitations, because you can get what I call cross-fertilization of marketing ideas. Because a florist and a DJ or a photographer, they're going to market differently. And you might find a gem that might work in your business. And, you know, you're not going to get that if you do it on your own or on a course. Everything has its place for learning. But when you're in a specific environment, gosh, make the most.
Oh, 100%. Come with that strategy in place, that firelight of knowing like what you want to get out of it. Oh, this is why I'm so excited for Wedcon, and it's going to come round so quick. Oh, I cannot wait. Okay, but one final question for you.
Please.
It's something that I ask all our guests. So, if you could go back to the start of your business journey and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Implement IPAs from outset. Do not price cut from outset. Set your value and your worth and charge what you are worth. You will. Okay, yeah, the truth of the matter is that there are some couples on a budget, but my gosh, I can't remember what the number was, but years ago, you know, when I looked at this national statistics for married, I don't know, it was like 50, 60,000, right? In my county alone, I think it was something like 7, I'm in Essex, right? And if I look, I think something like 7,000 or thereabouts when I took into account neighboring counties as well. You know, I didn't need anywhere near 7 or 8,000 weddings.
And you twist that many anyway.
You'd be exhausted, right? And across that, you're going to have people at every single price point. So when couples say to me, I've got to discount prices, no, you don't need to discount prices. You just need to know how to target the right audience. But just circling back to the question, you know, if I were to talk to the startup Terry Lewis, implement IPAs, influencers, pipelines, and anchors. Get your marketing, your strategies correct from outset. Oh my gosh, you know, it would just take out so much of that circular marketing where you're just literally, you know, that mouse on the cage, you're running, and you're chasing the tail that you can never ever see because you're just running in the wrong direction. Get a strategy. You know, if you don't, you know, use you guys or me, find somebody who's, here's the key thing, who has done it. And not only have they done it, have they got results for other people as well? You absolutely do not want to be talking to somebody who, you know, is a startup in this. You know, you want someone who knows
further along in the journey.
Exactly. Further along in the journey, you know, they've done it for themselves, they've done it for others, and there's a good chance they can do it for you.
I love it. Solid advice there. This was literal gold. I told you guys that Terry was going to bring the goods. I've been talking to all my clients. I was like, guess we've got Cohen on the podcast. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable
Honestly, my pleasure.
It's really my favorite. Out there, if you've took even one insight from today's episode, just imagine what it's going to be like learning from Terry live in person with your notebook full and your mind was in. My mind's like right now. I love it. But this is exactly what's going to be happening this November for Wedcon 2025. Terry is going to be taken to the stage with a session and a proven strategy that you've just heard a tiny bit about for wedding pros who are ready to stop hoping and to start scaling. So you guys out there, head to www.wedcon.co.uk and grab your tickets now. this is the kind of session that changes how you do business. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Terry, for being an amazing guest. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wed Pro podcast. Full transcribes of this episode, plus every other episode we have done, are available at www.theweddingbusinesshub.com/blogs. Thanks so much for listening. If you do have any questions about this episode or anything else at all, you can email us at info@theweddingbusinesshub.com. And if you are loving our episodes, which I know you are, make sure you hit the subscribe or follow button so you can stay updated with any new episodes that land. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.